Hi, welcome to another edition of your favourite show, OnSide SA, where we're talking soccer. We've had 3 weeks of our last one standing, and Budge, most people went through.
Yeah, bar Sheffield United, Paul.
Yeah.
And obviously one poor soul on Newcastle United. But yeah, I thought it went according to plan, Paul.
Now, I've got my international boys that I always put in, and they're always there. Charlie Pigram has got 2.
2 for 2. Paul,
Charlie
they've all
Pigram's
entered
first.
an extra pick.
Derek Ramsey, 2.
Yeah, Derek's.
Mike Abood, 1.
Yeah.
And Stevie B, the pundit, out.
Yeah, Paul, he was on Newcastle first week. Took a chance, didn't pay off, so it's back to tipping.
Yeah, back to tipping. Performance of the week, Carol Whitehead, colours as well.
Yeah, of course. You know, Paul, she's been in a couple of competitions. She's gone further in this competition and Garth's gone in all 8 competitions that we've had. So Carol's done great.
And Georgie Slentz's partner, Renee.
Yeah, Renee, first competition, cruise through.
Okay.
Done well, Paul.
Multiple picks. Lawrence Werner's up at the top. Mark Curry's team got 8. Werner's got 6. Greg Veal.
Yeah, 5 for 5. Done well again.
Graham Hawkins.
Yeah, 4.
And Paul Lafferty before each. So we're still going strong. Now, this is an interesting stat you put up. But 7 people who have not used Liverpool or Man City.
Yeah.
And they are Paulo De Carmo, the breeder, Ernie Wallace, a previous winner, Lionel Isaacs, Kevin Power, Ryan Harford, Chris Giorgio, and Darren Fox.
Yeah, Darren Hollywood boy. Yeah, they've done well. Haven't used them, Paul. Don't know whether they made a mistake or that's the plan.
That's right.
So.
Stevie B should follow these guys.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And Lurkers, only used 1 top team. Dylan Horn, Richard Knight. And we was robbed, is still in.
Can you believe it? Making his debut.
And he's still in.
Still
we
going.
was robbed, using an alias. Well done to him. Right. Make sure you get your bets on. We had a case this week where a guy didn't phone through in time. Fortunately, he went on to Man City, the highest ranked team at the time. Make sure you're in comms with Budge so we can get sorted on that. Budge, let's talk about the Champions League results.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Chelsea got hammered.
Yeah, Paul, it was a mismatch. Haven't been playing well. You know, and you got your mate Alonso at left back and Giroud up front. Good team, Paul. The only problem I found with Bayern Munich, the 2 centre-halves, Boateng and Alaba, little bit suspect, but all around the pitch, Paul, quality team.
Quality team, going a long way.
Yep.
Napoli held Barcelona.
Well, I watched a lot of that game. Ter Stegen kept them in the game, Paul. I feel sorry for Messi. He's playing on his own. He's got no help, and they should get through, but...
Is the Barta still up front with them?
No, he's gone. He's injured. End of the year, him and Dembele, Luis Suarez, injured.
And then Wednesday, Real Madrid led and lost to Man City.
Paul, I just don't understand. For me, the biggest loser of that particular game is going to be Paul Pogba. Because the way the Belgium played, when I'll tell you, the Belgium midfield player, great player, middle of park, gingerhead boy.
Plays for
Man City. He was dictating.
De Bruyne.
Kevin De Bruyne. There's no doubt in my mind he'll be at Real Madrid next year. Your man Modric is struggling. They're really battling. Isco's battling. They've got nothing up front. Mbappe and De Bruyne will be at Man City. Will be at Real Madrid next year.
Is this something you know or just a thought?
No, just Paul, of what I saw last night. They're a bad team, Real Madrid. Ramos got sent off. You know, I backed Real Madrid 1-0 up. They had a chance to make it 2. Once they win 1-0, it could have been 5.
Leon beat Juventus.
1-0, yeah. Looked a bit of a spicy game by the highlights, but second leg's a different story.
Yeah.
Pissi and Turin.
Right. Have we managed to get hold of Stevie B? Stevie, are you in the house?
I'm here. Good morning, both.
Morning, Steve.
Hello, Steve. How are you, pal? Well done with Fulham.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing like scoring in the 94th minute. They just about had time to kick off, and that was it. So, you know, we left it late, missed the penalty in the 88th minute. Just,
I saw that.
You know, to keep us on our toes.
Who took the penalty?
Mitrovic, it wasn't a good penalty, but he made up for it with a great header in the last minute.
He gets goals.
He is. He's the leading scorer still in the Championship. He scored almost half our goals.
Jeez, well, let's hope he's on the target this weekend. Steve, Champions League Tuesday, did you see much of the Chelsea-Bayern game?
Yeah, I watched it. I mean, I just thought they were a class apart. Bayern. I mean, they had quality all over the pitch, and I have to say, having not watched, only watched highlights before of Alphonso Davies. I mean, 19 years old. I mean, the guy was just immense. I mean, he just was, for me, was an outstanding performance. And they just, I mean, Lewandowski, I mean, they just were a class apart. And in the end, I think Chelsea were probably happy the final whistle went at 3.
Yeah, I agree. Steve, the Napoli-Barca game, you see the highlights there?
Only the highlights, yeah. I mean, I think Barca would be quite happy with that to get an away goal and take him back to the new camp.
Now, last night, Real Madrid, Man City. Did you think the change when Zidane brought Vinicius Jr. off, do you think that altered the result?
Well, for what I heard, it probably did. But I think, again, listening to the reports on the way back from the Fulham game, it sounded like sort of bringing on Raheem Sterling just changed the game for City. Yeah. And just, you know, they said the last 15 minutes, it was just totally one-sided. But, you know, great result. I mean, after the sort of 3 defeats for English clubs, apart from that, I think that was a great result. And you can't see Madrid getting anything at the Etihad.
Yeah, I think they'll get a corner. That'll be about all. I doubt they'll score there. Now, Steve, on to the weekend, the Premiership. It kicks off on Friday. A lot of people are going to be on Leicester in the last one standing competition. Do you agree with them?
I think so. I think that, you know, I think they want to sort of make sure they consolidate third place. You know, 1 or 2 slip-ups sort of recently, but I think that they're going to be too strong for Norwich. Just because, you know, I think Norwich try, but they just concede goals, and Leicester have always got goals in them. So I'd be very surprised if it's not an away win.
Yeah, I agree. Now, a team that could be in trouble are Chelsea, travelling to a desperate Bournemouth team. How do you see that going?
Well, I think it's going to depend as to whether Frank Lampard can sort of raise, you know, the spirits of some of the younger players in his team, because, you know, that was a very chastening defeat, and Bournemouth have got everything to play for. They've looked sort of stronger at home in recent weeks. I think they realise it's a game they've got to get something out of. It wouldn't surprise me if Bournemouth upset them, or at least get a point out of it. I'm not sure Chelsea will go there and win, you know, after the way that they were hammered on Tuesday.
Yeah, I agree. Now, West Ham played well on Monday night, a little bit unfortunate with the 2 goals late on. Can you see them beating Southampton?
Shoot the keeper.
I think this is an opportunity. I mean, they showed a huge amount of spirit. And talking to 1 or 2 West Ham fans, you know, they just can't fathom why they haven't shown that sort of fight and spirit in other matches recently. So I think this is a huge game for them, because they've still got some tough games. They've got Arsenal away, Tottenham away coming up in the next few weeks. So I think West Ham are going to target this as a game they feel they have to win to try to find a way out the bottom 3. Southampton are looking, you know, almost safe now. So a few weeks ago I might have said I think Southampton will win that, but I think West Ham might surprise a few people if they can show the same fight and cut out the mistakes at the back.
Yeah, that's the key to the whole thing, mistakes at the back. Now, Steve, Everton, Man United should be a thriller. How do you see that going?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a really good game. But, you know, I think Everton have been playing well. I know they sort of lost to Arsenal, but I thought they put up, you know, a good fight, and they haven't lost many at all recently under their new manager. But United, well, look, United have got another game, obviously tonight. So depends if he plays his strongest team there, and you know, they haven't got a big turnaround. I think I fancy a draw for that one. I think United are showing a little bit of fight. You know, they've got themselves into 5th place, and I think they want to hold on to it.
Yeah. Now, another game I just don't know how to put my head around is Tottenham at home to Wolves. How do you see that one?
Well, I mean, Tottenham, you know, were relatively poor at Chelsea at the weekend. But Wolves have got a Europa game tonight, but because I think they're sort of so far clear in the first leg, he might be tempted, Nuno, to rest 1 or 2 and save them for the game on Sunday. I fancy that Tottenham might just sort of edge it, but Wolves are just a hard team to beat, and if you know, they've got Jota and Raul on form, you know, they're going to score a goal. So it depends, you know, if Mourinho can motivate his team, because I just thought they were very average, I'm afraid, on Saturday lunchtime.
Yeah, talking of cup final on Sunday, any chance Aston Villa can do anything against Man City?
Well, you know, in a one-off game, obviously there is a chance, and you know, big support there. Evidently, City have struggling to sell all their tickets. I guess, you know, they have so many trips to Wembley that they're getting a bit blasé. But I think that whatever team City put out should be too strong for Villa. You know, this is probably a nice distraction for Villa in some ways, but otherwise, you know, if teams at the bottom around them are winning and they're not playing in the league, I don't think that's going to help their morale much. So the last thing they want is to be hammered at Wembley. So I think they need to put on a good show, a fighting performance. Otherwise, you know, I think that won't help their season.
Yeah, I think they're under severe pressure. Now, Steve, the big game for us both on the weekend is Fulham hosting my Preston North End. One-way traffic?
I'm not sure about one-way traffic. I mean, I did see the highlights of the West Brom Preston game, and that was pretty much one-way traffic.
Yeah.
And last night, in the first half particularly, it was all Fulham, but we just didn't quite weren't quite sharp enough in front of the goal. It's a game we have to win if we've got any hope of catching Leeds. I'm not sure we will. In all honesty, we certainly won't catch West Brom. I think they're going to walk the league now, playing very well. I'd be surprised if we don't win that, but I think it'll be a close game.
Let's hope so. I hope we play better, because speaking to my Preston people, they said we were terrible. Now, Blackburn are going well at home against the Swansea City team, who seem to have fallen off the bus lately.
They have a little bit, although it's interesting, they still had something like the second best away record. We beat them last night. Blackburn have been playing quite well. I mean, since we beat them, they've come back with sort of a couple of good wins away. Had a good draw at sort of Brentford. I wouldn't be surprised if Blackburn win that. You know, I think Swansea might be a little bit. I think they felt hard done by last night with the penalty not given for them, and then we went straight upfield and scored. It'd be a close game. You know, they're lively going forward. They had Andre Ayew up front. The player that they've got on loan from Chelsea, who was at Charlton first part of the season, Conor Gallagher, really good young player. You know, he's the sort of player you could see maybe Lampard bringing back to Chelsea next season and have be at fringes of the Premier League.
Okay, so Blackburn for you. Cardiff, Brentford. Brentford had a bad result midweek.
Yeah, they haven't won in 5. It's you know, just when it looked like they were the team that could be challenging Leeds, and they've, you know, and a poor result. I mean, they lost to Luton, who were at the time to the bottom. Cardiff had a poor result during the week. I mean, there's only their second home defeat to Forest. I think that Cardiff could hold Brentford. I think they're not going to want to lose 2 at home in a row. You know, neither team can afford to lose. Cardiff are sort of close to the playoff place, and Brentford, I think, now just falling away a little bit, 9 points behind Leeds.
Okay, you mentioned Luton Town. Great result in midweek. Can they beat Stoke?
It was, and I think they can. I think that will give them a huge amount of confidence. You know, it's getting very congested at the bottom. You know, those teams like Luton and Barnsley, who looked like they were adrift, are right back in it now. And teams like Stoke, who had a sort of decent run, Stoke, Middlesbrough. You know, Middlesbrough only out the bottom 3 on goal difference, and Stoke not much further ahead. So a win for Luton can put them right up there.
All right, last but not least, Steve, Millwall versus Bristol City.
Yeah, Bristol. I mean, they both. Fallen away a little bit. Bristol lost 3 in a row. I think Millwall could win that. They're strong at home. I think they're just a little bit too far away from the playoffs, and Bristol are just not, you know, having a poor run at the moment. And I just think Millwall might be too strong for them.
Yeah, okay. Now, Steve, last week you're on the button with tipping your best bet, Burnley. What's your best bet this week?
Well, I don't always bet on my own team, but I'm going to go for Fulham at 9 to 10. I think that's. I've got to back them. I think they played well enough last night to show that, you know, they still think they've got a chance of second place. So I'm going to back my boys Fulham.
Fulham to beat Preston. I can't say good luck because I won't be in attendance. Your best value bet, Steve?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Forest. I just think they're so good away from home. I mean, they sit back, soak up pressure, and when they got players like sort of Matty Cash, Lolly and Graben, they break so quickly, and I've just got a feeling that you know, they could get another win.
All right, Steve, no panic at all. Steve, did you watch the boxing last weekend?
So I've seen it subsequently. I didn't watch it live, but yeah, I mean, a hell of a fight. And I was talking to somebody who was out there, who's a journalist who was out there, and you know, he was really impressed. It's going to be interesting. I think I heard, maybe I was wrong. I heard somebody last night say that Wilder's team has said they do want the third match.
Yes, the Rossford.
So
the Rossford. Yeah.
Whether that's right, you know, the only thing is, you know, I mean, it's great to have a sequel, but you know, a third in a row, I'm not sure. And you have to say, you know, the way that Fury destroyed him, I can't see it would be any different result. So, you know, the fight that people here want to see is obviously Fury against Joshua, whether or not. I mean, Eddie Hearn, the promoter for Joshua, was very quick to say, yeah, let's bring it on. But, you know, the way that Fury destroyed Wilder, I'm not sure Anthony Joshua's chin would stand up to that as well. But we'll see. We'll see.
All right, Stevie, thanks very much for your input.
Pleasure.
We'll speak to you. We'll be back at normal time next week, but thanks very much.
Pleasure, no problem.
Okay.
Have a good week.
All the best, Stevie.
Bye.
Right. But let's shoot through these. You've heard Stevie talk about them, so you can just brush over them for me. Norwich, Leicester.
Yeah, I've got a fancy Leicester, Paul. You know, Norwich are going to have their 7 points from safety. They're going to have to come and have a go. I think there'll be plenty of goals in this. 7 to 10 looks a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Brighton at home, Palace.
Paul, big game. I watched Palace last week. How, our man OnSide Benteke, Mr. Header, I can't believe. Paul, they've got some good players. They just can't score goals.
Yeah.
I fancy Brighton here, Paul.
Okay.
They've drawn the last 3 at home, but this is a great chance for Brighton to escape the relegation zone.
Bournemouth, Chelsea be a good game.
It should be, Paul. Great chance for Bournemouth.
Chelsea have got to bounce back if they want to
Tammy Abraham will play. He'll play several of the other guys, obviously, that never played. But it was a devastating loss, Paul. At the back, they were terrible.
Who would you tip to win this?
I think this has got a draw written all over it, Paul.
So do I. Newcastle at home.
Paul, I like Burnley. Burnley have done great. They've won 4 and drawn one of the last 5. Newcastle haven't scored in 3 games. The worst thing is they don't look like scoring.
Yeah.
And watching them against Crystal Palace last week, Paul, they were dire. Yeah. They're going to have to go for it. And I can see Burnley sneaking this late.
Burnley 2-1.
Yeah.
Okay, West Ham at home, Southampton.
Paul, great chance for West Ham, but they can't defend.
Yeah.
I know they're unlucky with a goal. This, the one went through the defender's leg and the goalkeeper's leg. The second one, Alexander's shot was going for a throw and got deflected. But if you can't defend, Paul, you've got a problem. I like Southampton of the 2 teams. The pressure's going to come on, especially at home. The crowd will turn quickly.
So you want Southampton?
Southampton a draw for me there, Paul.
Okay. Watford, Liverpool.
Watford were terrible against United. Saying that, the VAR killed them, Paul.
Yeah.
Once that got disallowed, their heads dropped. Paul, someone's going to grab Liverpool one of these days, not to beat them, but to draw with them.
Yeah.
I don't know if Watford have got it in them, but at home they'll fight. But it's going for Liverpool at the moment.
Yeah.
I know you make your own luck, but they're not playing well. Atletico Madrid coming up, but it should be Liverpool.
To me, Everton, Man U is a great tie.
Paul, I fancy Everton, the 2 teams. I watched them against Arsenal. Scored early. They fought hard on at the back, but Arsenal got some good attacking players, Paul.
Yeah.
United, Club Brugge tonight. Away from home, Paul, we've been a little bit suspect. Of the 2 teams, there can be goals in this game, Paul. They've got to side with one of them. I'm going Everton.
And then Tottenham Wolves?
Paul, just
Tough
don't
game.
know. I just think Mourinho's got to start doing something. He's got to play Dele Alli, he's got to play Moura, and he's got to play the other guy up front, Bergwijn. Have a go, Paul.
Yeah.
I just think
Yeah.
he doesn't know. You can't keep chopping and changing. That's your formation, 4-3-3. That's how we're going to play, guys, and away we go. Wolves, you know what they're going to do, but it draws a big player there, Paul.
Okay, let's go on to Villa and Man City. I think Man City is certainty.
They
1 to
beat them
6.
6-0 at home at Aston Villa the other day after last night's performance. This should be a cakewalk.
Cakewalk, I have no doubt. Let's go to the Championship, Budge.
Yep.
Hull play Leeds. Leeds are flying.
Yeah, lunchtime kickoff. They won the last 3 leads. Paul, Hull are in serious trouble.
Yeah.
They sold their best player. They haven't won, I think it's 9 now. Short price Leeds United the odds, but you've got to think they'll win all day.
Yeah. Blackburn, Swansea.
Yeah, Blackburn at home, Paul. They've only lost 1 of 11, and that was to Fulham. 12 to 10. Paul, you just don't know. The wind's been playing havoc, and last night there were hardly any goals scored in the Championship. It's pressure time. Of the 2 teams, Paul, Blackburn, but I'd throw in the draw in my exotics. Cardiff, Brentford. Cardiff, as say, got beaten by Notts Forest. Good home record, but, Brentford, good team, Paul. Only lost once in the last few weeks. Brentford in the draw for me in that particular game.
Okay.
Sadly, I've got to side with Steve. Fulham to beat Preston. We are dire. We haven't been playing well lately, but we haven't got the worst results at Fulham. But it should be Fulham, Paul. Sad to say.
Huddersfield Town, 19th, play 18th.
Paul, I like Huddersfield. Yeah, they won in midweek. Charlton, I think, have lost 6 of the last 7 away from home.
Wow.
They're both in trouble, Paul. That's why the pressure's getting to them. But even money, Huddersfield, I fancy them.
Luton Town at bottom of the log, eh?
Yeah, but they've won 3 and drawn 3 of the last week. They beat Brentford at home. Great chance, Paul. Stoke in and out. Pressure game as well. They've got all the experience, Stoke, but you know what?
You don't want to be sitting 20th.
You don't want to be sitting, Paul. Luton, it's a free hit. They're expected to go down. Luton in a draw for me there, Paul.
Okay, Millwall, Bristol.
Paul, Millwall have only won 1 of the last 7 at home at the Den. They're hard to beat. Bristol City have lost 5 of the last 7 and struggling. They're the team that's 3 points behind Preston, so I'm funking for Millwall to get a result. But I don't see that, Paul. I think it draws a big player in the Millwall Bristol game.
Rangers, Birmingham.
Well, QPR, Paul, good home. They've won 4 and lost 1 of the last 5 at home. But Birmingham are unbeaten in 9. I think there'll be a lot of draws in the Championship, but I think there'll be goals in that game, Paul.
Okay. Reading, Barnsley.
Yeah, I like it. I was all over Reading, but Barnsley have won their last 3. They've come right, Barnsley. Reading are struggling. They've only won 1 in 10.
Wow.
I thought Reading, they went to Sheffield Wednesday, had a great result. I thought they were on their way back, but Wigan beat them 3-0 at home last night. I still fancy Reading of the 2 teams, but, You know, desperate teams, Paul. This is the time of the year you get the upsets.
Derby County down to 15th.
Yeah, away from home, Paul. They've won one in the last 24 away games.
Wow.
Terrible. Sheffield Wednesday got a result last night. It's another draw for me there, Paul. But of the home team, I fancy Sheffield Wednesday of the two teams.
West Brom, Wigan.
West Brom, Amos, Paul. You know,
Amos.
Wigan have done well. I think they've only lost 1 of 7, but West Brom have just taken it to the next level.
If you took West Brom into Liverpool, you'd be getting what, 14
getting like 12 to 10 somewhere
yeah,
around
it's like
there.
12 to 10, yeah.
Yeah, West Brom certainties, Paul. 12 to 10, West Brom will win over 2.5 goals. Wigan are going to have a go. They're in trouble. There'll be plenty of goals there.
Middlesbrough Forest.
Paul, I like Forest. Middlesbrough haven't won in 9 games. They're struggling. Haven't won at 5 in the last at home. Not Forest, Paul. It's a Monday game, so hopefully it's on. 19 to 10, Paul. Great price.
Yeah, okay. Then let's talk about the PSL fixtures.
Yeah, Paul, obviously the big one is Chiefs and Pirates, but kicks off on Friday.
Orlando Stadium, full
playing
house.
FNB, yeah, it'll be 90,000.
FNB.
Yeah, always the big one there. Paul, I like Maritzburg. They got knocked out the cup, injury time last week by Celtic. Stellenbosch have come right. Steve's got them doing well. But 9 to 10 Maritzburg, they don't get beat at Harry Gwala, Paul.
Harry Gwala, you beaut. Yeah. Golden Arrows at home?
Paul, Arrows in a draw. Highlands away from home have been terrible. Yeah, I watched the game last week in the monsoon when they beat Chiefs on penalties. They played great. Away from home, they're terrible though. Arrows in the draw for me there.
Pirates Chief a draw?
Paul, Chiefs have only beat them once in 15, but that was in November. I like what I've seen from Pirates lately, Paul. I saw 13 to 10
Pirates?
over 2.5 goals. I like Pirates, yeah.
Chipper United, Amazulu.
Paul, this will be a desperate game. Amazulu were terrible. They can't score goals. Chipper were unlucky. They got beat by Pirates 1-0 at home. Desperate deflection. I like Chipper of the two teams, Paul.
Okay.
15 to 10, yeah.
Supersport United.
Paul, Bidvest never beat Supersport. They outplay them, and Supersport always seem to grab them. They don't get beat Pretoria. Supersport in the draw for me there.
4 and 5 in the log.
Yeah.
Blum Celtic, Baraka.
I fancy Blum Celtic big time, Paul. They beat Maritzburg 3-2 at home. Baraka can't score goals.
Yeah.
11 away games, they've only scored 4 goals. So I fancy Bloemfontein Celtic, Paul. They score, obviously they win.
Polokwane.
Desperate game this, Paul. Polokwane at home. Black Leopards have lost their last 4 away from home. It should be Polokwane, Paul, but it draws a big player.
Okay, Budge, I'm going to leave you to go through the last section.
Yep, no problem
I have an appointment. Let's go on. You're going to run through those, Budge.
The soccer exotics. You know, I've got Orlando Pirates win and draw at home against Kaizer Chiefs. I fancy Golden Arrows to avoid defeat at home against Highlands Park. I've thrown the draw in with Chelsea. I don't see them winning, but I think the draw is a major possibility at Bournemouth. I don't see Chipper United losing at home to Amazulu. Liverpool should be too strong for Watford, seeing they've won their last 19 league games. And I don't see Supersport United losing to Bidvest 192. Our second soccer 6 is our English one. I've gone Burnley to avoid defeat at Newcastle United. I've gone the field in the West Ham-Southampton game. I think Fulham will be too good for Preston. I don't see Brentford losing to Cardiff City. I've gone the field in the Sheffield Wednesday Derby County match. And I've banked Liverpool to beat Watford, 2-1-6. On to the soccer 10. I've gone Orlando Pirates, win and draw against Kaizer Chiefs. I've gone Golden Arrows, win and draw at home against Highlands. I've banked Lazio to beat Bologna. I've gone Chelsea, win and draw at Bournemouth. I've gone Burnley, win and draw at Newcastle United. I've gone the field in the West Ham versus Southampton fixture. I think Valencia will be too good for Real Betis. I think Chipper United will beat Amazulu. Liverpool will beat Watford. And I've gone the field in the soccer 10, 288. On to the soccer 13, where there's a carryover, so I expect a 30 million pool. I've gone Chelsea, win and draw at home against Bournemouth. I've banked Liverpool to beat Watford. I've gone Burnley, win and draw at Newcastle. I've gone West Ham United, win and draw at home against Southampton. I've banked Blackburn to beat Swansea. Fulham to beat Preston North End. I've sided with Brentford to get a positive result at Cardiff City. I've gone Sheffield Wednesday, win and draw at home against Wayne Rooney's Derby County. I don't see Millwall losing at home to Bristol City. I've gone Birmingham City, win and draw at QPR. I've banked Reading to beat Barnsley, Huddersfield to beat Charlton Athletic, and I've gone Luton Town, win and draw at home to Stoke City, 435. On to our budgies bets for the weekend. I've gone Leicester City to win and over 2.5 total goals. I think Burnley will win at Newcastle And I've gone over 2.5 goals in the Everton versus United game, 2,700 to 200. My championship quartet, I've gone Huddersfield and Notts Forest to win. I think West Brom will beat Wigan and over 2.5 total goals. And I've gone over 2.5 goals in the QPR Birmingham City game, 3,600 to 200. My both teams to score sides are Bournemouth Chelsea, Tottenham Wolves, Blackburn Swansea, Fulham Preston, and QPR Birmingham City. 16.5 to 1, 3,300 to 200. Our PSL quad, I've gone Bloemfontein Celtic and Chipper United to win. I've gone over 2.5 goals in the Orlando Pirates Kaizer Chiefs clash and under 2.5 goals in the Golden Arrows versus Highlands Park match, 3,500 to 200. My Spanish quartet, I've gone Atletico Madrid, Eibar and Valencia all to win and over 2.5 goals in the Athletic Bilbao Villarreal clash, 3,900 to 200. Collis King 6 on Exa, I've gone Leicester City, Huddersfield Town, West Brom, Atletico Madrid, Real Sociedad and Valencia. Great odds are just over 30 to 1, 6,300 to 200. My best bet of the weekend is Valencia. Unbeaten at home this year. They beat Barcelona 2-0 at home and should have beat Atletico Madrid when drawing 2-2 last Friday. I think they'll be too good for a Real Betis team who were terrible last Friday when drawing 3-3 with Mallorca, who are third bottom. And my best value bet for the weekend is Nottingham Forest. Playing a Middlesbrough team who are struggling and on the way down, 19 to 10 Nottingham Forest is a great price. To all our viewers, please remember, stay on side.